Welcome back to Masters Tour Seoul here in South Korea. We've already had our first match of the day, first two matches, sending RNG, Liss and Felkeen through to our semi-finals. But now on a slightly sadder note, we have to move through to our lower bracket, our loser matches here in the double elimination round. So it is all on the line for these two players.
Yeah, this is really big stakes, right? It's win or go home for these players, and for one of them, he's sort of one of the hometown heroes here, right? We have
That's true.
Only one remaining Korean player in the event, and that is Sooni, who's going to be competing in our match coming up just now.
That's right. He's got a very unique style of play with his combo priest, has been performing very, very well. I believe the highest performing deck full stop here at Masters Tour Seoul.
Yeah, and by a lot, too.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the statistics, the win rate of Priest overall in this tournament was just shy of 60%. The next highest was 52.
Wow.
So it was just absolutely dominant, but it was dominant because of its performance specifically against Mage, which was the most popular deck in the field. And he's not going up against Mage here. He's going up against Hunter, which is a more difficult matchup, but at least throughout this tournament, one that Priest also came out ahead in.
Yeah, it's very, very close. We've seen the Reno Hunter, specifically from Staz, being a bit of an upset, in my opinion, in terms of how well it performed. But with all the aggression early on, it feels like it can kind of just aggro Priest out of the matchup, which you wouldn't really expect from a Reno deck.
Well, there's a couple of things going on. One is the ability for the Hunter deck to apply pressure, as you mentioned. Two is the difficulty in playing around a lot of the specific secrets.
Good point.
The Priest deck is built around playing out minions and buffing those minions and sort of getting in that damage in big bursts usually. That's quite vulnerable frequently to freezing trap and pressure play, and also rat trap, because a lot of your sort of board clears you have for things like, say, the Hyena Alpha involve playing 3 spells in a turn. It's Wild Pyromancer into stuff, and you have no way to actually clear off that big rat that can come off of it. So there's a lot of ways the Hunter can put you in a sticky situation.
It can indeed, and when we get through to that, I'm very excited to see how the players will adapt to that situation, because it means very different things to both of these players, I think. With Staz already being in Grandmasters, he's secured his spot as a very proficient pro player. But I think my biggest memory of him is from WESG quite a few years ago, his win there. But also his play in HCT, I remember you saying, had a couple of close scrapes. It's been a while since he's had a big tournament victory. Yeah,
and we'll take a look at how these players got here. Yesterday, we played out the initial matches in this top 8, and Sooni did fall to Liss, who is the player who advanced already from this group to the top 4 tomorrow, or rather later today. And then Staz took a tough loss against Magoho, who we just saw, in fact, drop to Liss earlier in the day. So it will be the two of these playing for who gets to go on to face Magoho later on, and the loser is in fact just eliminated from the tournament.
That's right. I would say, though, even the victor of this match will still be in for a little bit of a rough ride to get through to the semi-finals. Priest's worst matchup, I believe, was the Warrior. It just really struggles to get anything on board against all the removal that the Warrior can throw down. And Reno Hunter as well also seems to be struggling against the Warriors. It's not that high value. And so unless you can get up to a nice aggressive mid-game, it can struggle.
We did see specifically Staz, lost yesterday to Magoho there. I do feel like Staz got a bit unfortunate in the way that this game's played out. Magoho had really good early plays in both games, despite having only a single copy of Eternium Rover and the Town Crier in his deck. But it is true that specifically the kind of bomb control hybrid, we saw the brand get shut down by just having bombs in the deck in that matchup, and that could be a really big problem when you really rely on Zephyrus and Brand in a lot of situations to really give you the power to overcome the Bomb Warrior's defenses.
That's right, and we almost saw that come into effect in our first match of the day between Liss and Magoho, but unfortunately for the Warrior in that one, the Hunter was able to just get that damage through in the mid-game, Zul'jin proving absolutely crucial. I would imagine that in this particular matchup, Zul'jin will probably come down at the point when the game is probably decided already, but it might be that final thing that tips the scales in the favor of the Hunter. But having talked about the things that the Hunter is very good at, going for the aggression early on, the secrets as well, what do you think the Priest should be looking for in terms of play style against the Reno Hunter?
Northshire Cleric, extra arms. That's what you're looking for.
Well, you're not wrong there, as we are ready to introduce the players for this particular match, bringing them on and ready to fight out for their spot in the semi-final here at Masters Tour Seoul. For these players, as I said, Staz, an opportunity to state himself as one of the top-tier competitive Hearthstone players again. He's not a has-been. He's still absolutely got what it takes, and a win here would solidify that. Sooni on the other side, however, very well respected and well known here in the South Korean scene, but wants to get through to Grandmasters, obviously, and the Masters Tour is how you do that. A win here would put him in a fantastic position to get through to Grandmasters in Season 3.
Yeah, and crucially too, we see he has a lot of fans in the
There
crowd.
we go.
I was just going to say, crucially, has the there's a lot of fans of the various Korean players, even those who are not in the tournament right now. But yeah, we do see a lot of fans in the audience who are rooting for the local hero remaining in the tournament, which is Sooni. But Staz here, he is one of the most accomplished players in Hearthstone, which is quietly so to a certain degree, because he has gotten his results in the Asia Pacific region, which is not really as well known throughout most of the rest of the world. We actually, in fact, only in the past couple of years with the global championships really saw and got to know a lot of these Asia Pacific players. And Staz is actually one of the top overall prize earners in the history of the game.
It's true.
I actually believe with a win today, he has an opportunity to possibly even not overcome the leaders, but get into the top 5 or 10.
Wow, very, very impressive. And I'm sure he would not turn his nose up at some of that $500,000 of prize money that we have on offer here at Masters Tour Seoul. But if he's going to do that, he's going to have to win this game. This series is lose and you are out of the tournament in top 8.
All right, well, speaking of things you're looking for in your opening hand, Sooni does have that Northshire Cleric, very important. He is going second, which is not really the position that you want to be in as the Priest. You usually want to be able to get your minions down and buff them before your opponent has the chance to react. That's what the real strength of this Priest deck is.
This Priest Mulligan I often find is a very weird one, because when you're learning Hearthstone, one of the first tenets you learn is keep cheap cards, right? You want to be able to play cards on curve and keep up in terms of tempo. Priest basically doesn't have any minions that cost more than 4, so you're guaranteed a handful of cheap cards. So what do you settle with? How much do you look for the absolute dream hand with obviously the extra arms, Divine Spirit, Inner Fire, and how much do you settle for what is here a pretty good hand? He's curving out, but not anything completely broken so far.
A lot of it sort of depends on the matchup. I believe in this matchup, more than anything, you're looking for being able to just do things early, and the Cleric, you 100% keep all the time.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
The Cleric is just fantastic. The Tol'Vir, the injured Tol'Vir, gives you the ability to get a minion down, which obviously is very synergistic with the Cleric.
Yep.
Thanks to coming in damage, allowing you to heal it up and draw cards. But the Amet, there's against the Singleton Hunter deck, there's so few ways for them to be able to deal with it early. That it can just be quite powerful. But speaking of powerful, that bow is very important for Staz. The ability to answer multiple minions, crucially this Tol'Vir before it gets healed, is a very, very big deal. Oh, and speaking of a big deal, that's extra arms. Very
big deal. But for Sooni here, interestingly already, he's going to be struggling to find a strong play around Deadly Shot. No matter what he goes for, if he goes for coin into High Priest Amet, at that point, obviously, Cleric's dealt with the bow, Deadly Shot takes out Amet. If he goes for Deadly Arms, coin Divine Spirit, which is a very, very powerful play to get the game rolling, of course, he would then be suffering against, again, Deadly Shot. So there's some pretty specific cards he needs to play around here if he wants to put himself in a really good spot.
Yeah, Sooni does know that this secret is not freezing. He has no idea whether it is Pressure Plate, which is a very real concern.
Excellent point.
If he did just use the extra arms here, he could get really heavily punished by the Pressure Plate. I could actually see him just attack with use the coin, right? Attack with the Cleric, use the coin. Coin tests for Pressure Plate. Yep. And then he can play the injured Tol'Vir and heal it if he so chooses, protecting his Cleric from just being able to be killed by the weapon. Or he's going to go with Amet.
Yeah, it's kind of a close-up, right? Because the payoff for this, if there isn't an answer, my goodness.
But speaking of answers,
the Shadow Word Pain.
Answer.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Zephyrus will offer up Shadow Word Pain in this spot. We see we see a bit of a shake of the head from Sooni here, as that was his really kind of big play there.
Sooni is so far behind now. Look at how bad of a position he's in.
He's going to injure Tol'Vir. He can play the extra arms or just heal this up right now, sort of debating which he wants to go with.
I'm not really seeing too much benefit to go with the extra armors, because, you know, if he had a hand full of cards, I would say, great, spend your mana, get all your cards out of hand. Right. But he's running pretty low. Until he finds an Acolyte of Pain specifically, his draw is limited.
Hyena Alpha is really powerful. Subject 9, though, on curve here for Staz, just sort of get the rest of the secrets from his deck.
Yeah.
Ensure that all of his future turns are really sort of juiced up and powerful.
Like, we could see Subject 9 this turn into Hyena Alpha Sunreaver Spy next turn. But that, of course, relies on the fact that you would not have your secret propped. With it being Snake Trap, I think is not a guarantee. So I'm perfectly happy with him spending all his mana.
Yeah, so this is just getting... It doesn't actually get the most stats on the board, but it's the most efficient in terms of utilizing his resources overall. He gets, you know, multiple cards down with the full mana is available. Hyena Alpha can come down alongside a hero power, alongside a flare in a future turn.
And I think the stats are fairly well positioned, right, with these 2/3 attack minions. It makes it a little bit harder for a value trade with the Tolbit.
And the attack with the Zephyrus there, it plays on a few things. One is just Pyromancer, killing the 2 health minion. It also helps play around a Divine Spirit by getting a little bit of damage in on this, so Sooni would have to commit more. Yeah. As far as what Sooni is looking to play around here, okay, he's actually just going for it. So he is paying...
wow.
All right.
This is brave. This is very, very brave. But these are the kind of plays you have to make with Priest.
Right.
Sooni here coming to the conclusion, and he's all in.
And this is a little bit of a punish for Staz choosing not to play Subject 9 last turn. The Subject 9 would have given him Freezing Trap, which ends up stranding this play. Staz can attack his Ursatron in and get a Zephyrus. Or rather get Zephyrus. Zilliax. The other Z. I was like, Zephyrus. No, that's not right at all.
But he might get Snip Snap.
Right, he's a 50-50 chance of hitting a Zilliax, which will allow him to survive against this 16-16. So that would also mean that he has the ability to Subject 9 into Freezing Trap, but it does give Sooni another turn to develop another minion.
So do we see trade the Ursatron first? If it misses, flare into hopefully finding Freezing Trap?
Yeah, I think that's really
or Deadly Shock.
I think that's really your plan here.
Yeah. That seems very reasonable to me.
It's Snip Snap, okay.
So the crowd cheering with every good result for Sooni.
Yeah, he is the local hero here. He's the one remaining South Korean player in this tournament. Flare finds Secret Keeper, and the crowd goes wild. The cheers go up as they see, and big smiles on Sooni's face here as his big risk going in on this Tolbir pays off with just a quick turn 6 lethal attack.
This Priest deck is crazy, man. That game was looking over. Staz had every single answer, pretty much the perfect curve, and it was still just too much.
I do want to go back to that turn where he chose to play the Ursatron and the Sunreaver Spy. If he had played the Subject 9 there, he gets the secrets. He gets the Freezing Trap, which you can set up to play around the possibility of this happening. He gets a pressure plate. You know, so he could have set him up to beat the best possible situation. It wasn't necessarily the most immediately efficient play in sort of general, but specifically against it, it's capable of doing exactly that. I feel like it was a safer option.
I guess that his play had a little bit of more benefit around more board-focused routes, like Psychopomp, for example, could have come down and made a bigger board. But I think in the Psychopomp instance, you're still probably winning anyway because you're so far ahead on board with the Subject 9. So I think I tend to agree with you there, just to lock out any cheesy win conditions that the Priest can go for.
It's also just as far as you're a long-term plan, right? You're getting all the secrets out of your deck, and you're improving your future draws pretty significantly because you don't have those as options. But you know, Staz is going to be trying to battle back and win 2 games straight here. Looking at his secondary and tertiary decks, I don't really think he's going to be going with either of them.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much here. He doesn't want to take out the burn package, which both decks seem to get out there. I mean, it's not especially good, but the things added in, it's not more removal, basically, which is a lot of the time what you want.
Yeah, Sooni, on the other hand, has made a change. He is going with his tertiary deck, which includes Acidic Swamp Ooze. We know specifically that that's the deck he went with because the Zilliax in his opening hand. Yeah. Literally, I don't know if you can hear it over our microphones, but literally the crowd just cheered at the sight of Northshire Cleric in the opening hand.
They'll take what they can get. This is what I like. You know, cheer for your home player. This is Hearthstone. This is a good play here.
I have never had the opportunity before now to play or cast any events here in Korea. And
Me neither.
It really is sort of the home of esports. And the powered shield draw for Sooni.
Wow.
He has Cleric, powered shield, Divine Spirit, Interfire. Look at that smile. Look at that smile. That is a man who knows that he has a blessed draw.
Yeah.
There is, of course, you know, looking at Staz's hand, he has Deadly Shot. He has a possible answer if Sooni does choose to just go all in on a individual minion.
And I think with the way his hand's shaping up, it's very possible that he won't have to go all in. The damage effect from Wild Pyromancer and the Ritualist healing everything back up could let him go for a much longer term game plan, which I think we'll probably see.
Pain speaks to me.
I like this taking it a little bit slower, like the snipe taking out the Acolyte. It's not great. You'd rather see another secret and keep the draw going as maximum as possible. But it's still just pretty good. You're still getting a lot of draw rolling.
Oh, Zephyrus, once again.
Could go for the coin first to pretty much guarantee yourself Shadow Word Pain, I suppose, if you deem that as a necessary minion to remove. Which I would say is actually a pretty reasonable play, because the main thing you're afraid of on turn 4 is obviously Amit, and he has the Deadly Shot to be able to answer that on curve.
Gonna go ahead and just flare and pass the turn. I do actually kind of like this because, and there's Amit. So once again, holding onto the Zephyrus does pay off for Staz. Is gonna have the exact same opportunity. You see it like shaking the head and a smile now for Sooni.
It does. But at the same time, if he'd gone for this last turn, he could have Deadly Shotted this turn. Whereas now,
that is true.
The Cleric's in play, right? This is where the draw starts to go nuts. He can attack, heal, and Ritualist to draw 2 cards minimum.
It's actually, he could even Pyro Silence, Ritualist draw if he really wants to.
I like the look of that. I like the look of that a lot.
Yeah, Pyro into Silence, attack, play the Ritualist, you end up drawing your 2.
Yeah. And I think for Staz, I don't know, perhaps a slight undervaluing of the power of draw in Priest, but at the same time, you know, if he'd gone for my play of coining it out and getting the power Shadow Word Pain, maybe we would have seen a Psycho Bomb coming down and just dominating the board in there. It was very difficult.
Inner Fire here, rather than the Silence. Which does sort of commit the Inner Fire now with the Divine Spirit in his hand. He has the Silence, which seems... I mean, he would have actually killed the minion without Inner Firing.
Yeah.
Because of the damage from the Pyro.
That's true. That's true.
So I'm a little curious about this particular decision.
Yeah, I guess just deciding that Silence is more valuable, which I'm not sure if I agree with.
Well, it could be that he just wants to get this development down anyway. He's like, okay, I want you know, get the 5/5
a mid-sized minion.
Yeah,
that's fair. And if he's able to dominate with a wide board, he'll probably win. Hunter does struggle to deal with these mid-sized minions in play.
I mean, Staz does have the opportunity to unleash, kill off the Pyromancer coin Deadly Shot, or
is that double springboard play?
Right, he's just gonna
all into the Cleric, man.
All right, yeah, just kill that off. And this is sort of another argument for using the Silence rather than the Inner Fire. Like, it feels like the Inner Fire is a more valuable resource to me.
Yeah.
And now he does not have that Inner Fire. They'll find another Cleric, though. That's fantastic. So he actually can...
Yes, that is fantastic.
He still has the Silence. This amusingly...
Silence his own Nephset?
Right. He can play Cleric, Silence, Blade Master, Nephset, heal.
Yeah, it depends how he wants to do it, right? He could play the Silence first. It depends whether he wants a damaged Cleric. It's not necessarily better or worse.
There's no reason. Well, because he doesn't have, currently at least, a Circle of Healing, there's no additional value to damaging the Cleric right now.
Keep it as healthy as possible.
Interestingly, because he used the Inner Fire last time and has a Silence, he actually can do all of this with the mana he has available. You know, Blade Master plus Cleric plus heal.
Sooni out here playing some 4-dimensional chess. Or he saw some other benefit to it. It's not like the Silence is completely useless in this matchup anyway, but I don't know. Against the Hunter, it feels like it has limited uses at best. Maybe against the Snips, no. This, however, looking much, much more like it for Sooni. Going for the heal on the Nefer set instead of positioning the Blade Master differently and being able to heal the Blade Master and the Pyromancer, I think was maybe a little bit better. But there's positives and negatives either way.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough spot for Staz here. He can coin out the Dino Tamer brand, take out the Blade Master with King Crush, which is never really what you want to be doing with King Crush. King Crush trade is always a little sad, especially because Sooni has the ability to just clear this off or just push a bunch of damage to face. There's another Divine Spirit.
Still, however, no Inner Fire. Well, the Inner Fire has been used, I should say, sorry, and no mass healing effects. So for Sooni, this is still a temperate turn, nothing too absurd. However, that's fine as it currently stands, I think. Being able to take out a couple of these minions and get down the Bone Wraith is pretty good.
It's interesting to see how Sooni does choose to navigate this. Looks like he's going to attack heal to start on the brand. This gives him the opportunity to find another cheap spell, find a circle of healing.
Whoa!
Oh dear. Okay.
So does he take the value trades on the brand first, then go for it?
This is slightly awkward because
the crush is not perfect.
Right. I mean, he can play, say, Pyro Divine Spirit here, and then Circle of Healing.
Okay.
Which is what he's going to do. Yeah, Pyro into Divine Spirit into Circle of Healing. He's not really going to have an opportunity to play the cards that he is drawing off of this circle.
This is fine though. I think there's not much you
Right.
can
He's just getting him 4 more cards. Get the damage in. And now Staz facing a pretty awkward board. Subject 9 once again, but this time he's behind 4 minions, so the possibility of freezing trap is not that scary.
That's right. And Sooni is going to be getting closer and closer to that second Inner Fire to just close out the game. Or even just topsy-turvy. There's 2 cards in the deck now.
Look at that. Look at the numbers on the right-hand side of the screen. 18 to 9. Sooni has drawn 9 more cards than Staz this game.
Well, this is what priests do. If you leave it with any minions on board whatsoever, a cleric that was disregarded at first has now drawn a tremendous amount of cards for Sooni.
And Staz trying to figure a way out of this. The Powered Shield on that cleric, or the Divine Spirit on that cleric, is keeping it out of Ziliak's range as well. So no good way for Staz to even clear that off and keep himself in a position to deny additional card draw, which we see is already waiting in the form of that Circle of Healing.
Are there any dream results that could come off the Hunter's Pack that's worth going for that?
Hunter's Pack into...
Like, Explosive Trap isn't even that good.
Right, I mean, he could Subject 9 and be guaranteed an Explosive Trap, but yeah, it's not even very powerful.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's even running an Explosive Trap in the deck at all.
He's really just ripping the Deadly Shot, does not hit the cleric. Sooni, breathes a sigh of relief. He sees that this is going to go off for him.
I mean, how does he even do this? Like, there's so much powerful stuff you can do. He has to be looking towards lethal on this turn, right? It's got to be within range or close.
Yeah, he can start with the Circle of Healing and draw 3 right away. If he does find the Inner Fire,
he needs to think about how to draw the maximum amount of cards and also how much mana he needs, because he could go Powered Shield on the Pyromancer first and then Circle to draw an extra card.
Yes.
But I think he'd run into board hand space issues there.
Yeah, he can draw 3 here, whereas he would draw... That's the Inner Fire. Okay, so is this just lethal? He has extra arms, Powered Shield, Divine Spirit. It's gotta be.
Yep, trading off the Pyromancer to make sure it doesn't damage his own minions.
And that is... boom! 23 on the dot. And that will close things out.
That's going to be game.
Sooni takes game 2 and the match to stay alive as the local champion.
The lone representative from South Korea still in the tournament, doing an absolutely fantastic job. He picked such a fantastic deck for this tournament with the Combo Priest, the single highest performing deck in the tournament. Commiserations, however, have to go out to Staz. A fantastic run with his pretty ingenious bring of the Reno Hunter.
Yeah, the Highlander Hunter deck performed very well for Staz all weekend. He started the tournament 8-0, made it through to the top 8, but his run does end here. We see shake of the hand between the two players, as only one can survive here. Kind of like the Highlander Hunt deck. There can be only one.
How appropriate.
Yeah, exactly.
Staz, I imagine, will be holding his head high heading into Grandmasters next week, where he will be competing in the Asia-Pacific region. But for Sooni, he's going to be looking also with his eyes to Grandmasters, I would imagine, trying to get a win here to qualify.
Yeah, and he is in a very good position here. I feel like the deck that he has the lone combo priest deck in the top 8.
Yep.
But if you actually looked at the final standings just outside, his practice partner and friend, Physics King with 9th.
Yeah.
Empinizado, another player playing combo priest,
Yep.
was, I believe, either 10th or 11th. So he was the only one to squeak in with the deck that did by far the best statistically throughout the tournament. And he's going to go up against Magaho in the lower bracket decider match.
Yep.
And he has that Octosari Nomi side deck that I am excited to see again.
I am very excited to see that as well. But we're going to have to go to a quick break before we come with our next losers bracket match here to find out who will be staying alive here in Masters Tour Seoul. Don't go anywhere.